On March 11th, 2020, the World Health Organization declared that we are facing a global pandemic. No one fully anticipated the hardships it brought, the loneliness of lockdowns, the economic deprivation of a recession, and the utter uncertainty. These times really are unprecedented. At Enactus Edinburgh, we have responded to the restrictions and challenges of the pandemic. We have adapted our existing solutions and implemented new ones to address needs in local and international communities.
At the last Enactus Summit, the feedback that resonated with us was that our project Harvest had the capacity to expand and work locally as well as internationally. We took this feedback on board and saw an opportunity to create a branch of the project that targets student mental health while also raising funds for the international branch in Malawi, which tackles post-harvest loss. We wanted to help the community we know best, students.
Students are struggling now more than ever with their mental health. Statistics show that student suicide rates continue to rise, and 1 in 3 university students have felt the need to seek professional help. Depression and anxiety are topping the list of student struggles. Day in and day out, students are battling with the constant strains of staring at the screens, the reduced human contact, and the lack of social interaction. Many are also struggling financially due to the fewer opportunities and loss of the part-time jobs.
Our needs assessment showed that students are feeling lonely and are struggling to adapt to the increased screen time. In our interviews, many voiced a clear interest in finding an activity that will help them relieve stress and bring them a sense of community, while if possible making a small income. The Harvest team saw this need and came up with a solution to help alleviate this constant, debilitating mental strain.
So, what is our solution? Students pay £10 for a necklace making kit with instructions included. They then make 8 necklaces within a given time frame that works for them. The students then post the completed necklaces back to the Harvest team, and once we have received 8 necklaces, the student is paid £20. Not only do participators benefit from engaging in active mindfulness therapy, but the income they earn provides some financial alleviation to those struggling.
The return necklaces are sold for £6 each on our online shopping platforms including Instagram, Depop and Etsy. With this model, we make a net profit of £20 to £28 per necklace kit. All of our profits go to fund the launch of our Malawi branch. To represent the Harvest brand, each necklace arrives with an explanation of where the profits go. We are currently in the process of recruiting students and this week have launched our social media and sent out the first 5 kits.
To ensure the positive environmental impact of our product, we're using sustainable materials. Our beads are made of environmentally responsible glass, which makes the product entirely recyclable.
What is the future plan? In future, we plan to expand to other beneficiary groups and target people from more vulnerable backgrounds. The payment system will be modified for them, allowing Harvest beads to be a more secure source of income.
Once enough funds are raised for Harvest Malawi launch, Harvest Beads will continue to fund Enactus projects in ideation stages, reducing their reliance on external grants and funding, which in turn makes these projects more sustainable.
This makes our solution truly unique. We are able to positively impact members of our community and address their needs while providing reliable funding to other social enterprises in Enactus Edinburgh.
Harvest Beads is our response to the pandemic and its detrimental effects on our community. But this is only our starting point. With the model of Harvest Beads, the opportunities to expand are limitless.
Whilst Harvest Beads provides relief from anxiety to struggling students, another of our projects, Sanitary, is taking steps towards a future where every menstruating person can experience a dignified period. Social and economic barriers to effective menstrual hygiene management is a global challenge. poor access to period products, and a lack of basic education around menstruation prevents individuals from exercising freedom and autonomy over their body. COVID-19 has indirectly impacted this area, worsening the effects of period poverty on people's lives here in the UK and globally.
In India, 71% of girls are not taught about menstruation before their first period, and 60% miss school because of the period. This lack of education can be further linked to 70% of reproductive tract infections occurring as the result of the poor menstrual hygiene. The majority of women we interviewed in our needs assessment said they do not feel comfortable talking about periods with friends or family, even in serious health-related circumstances.
Only an estimated 36% of women were found to use menstrual pads. Instead, many used the old cloths, a method linked to increased vaginal infections and ultimately certain cancers. We believe that no one should have to go through this burden and indignity of period poverty.
So, Sanitary developed an innovative reusable menstrual pad. We believe it will reduce period poverty, tackle the damaging environmental effect of disposable menstrual pads, and fight the stigma surrounding periods and women's reproductive health. Over the past 4 years, our team has developed and adapted a pad that balances practicality with financial and environmental impact.
The pad is made from a bamboo-based cotton top layer, and a fully leak-proof certified organic cotton bottom layer with now fully biodegradable lamination. Each pad is carried in a pouch made entirely from recycled offcuts from the local textile industry. This makes our packaging colourful, unique, and most importantly, eco-friendly. Every pad can be used around 150 times, which is roughly 2 years. This saves 6p per new pad and the equivalent of 600 single-use plastic bags in material waste.
With this product, Sanitary and our project partner, the Jeevan R Foundation, collaborated to establish the Her Shakti Centre in Jaipur. Meaning Her Power, the Her Shakti Centre acts as a hub for employment and a vehicle of education. The centre is a workspace for the 22 women we identified through needs assessment who would benefit from the opportunities we are able to provide.
These women come from a range of disadvantaged backgrounds. Many are widows and single mothers trying to support their family, and some are survivors of domestic abuse and violence. Together, on average, they produce 1,500 reusable menstrual pads and pouches each month, driving an average profit of £65 per pad sold.
As the pandemic hit, pad production had to be halted. But we did not let this stop us. We adapted to these unprecedented circumstances and implemented a number of initiatives that allowed us to keep reaching individuals in need.
In Edinburgh, we raised funds with the aim of donating 100 of our pads to the local food banks across the city. We exceeded this fundraising goal and were able to donate 150 pads.
After lockdown restrictions were eased in Jaipur, we opened up the Her Shakti Centre for the beneficiaries and wider community, and they were free to use it as they wanted. Some of our beneficiaries used the sewing machines to make clothes for themselves and for their families.
A couple of months later, 250 of our pads were given out in ration kits in Jaipur as part of multiple donation drives with our project partner and Go Dharmic, a non-profit organisation.
We partnered with an Enactus team in New Delhi for a donation drive in a village near Jaipur, distributing 55 pads.
To reach communities beyond the UK and India, we partnered with a school in Boss to give out 1,500 pads in 3 schools and a local NGO in Malawi. The principal of one school said the donation of pads brought joy to their school, with girls' attendance climbing high and parents being thankful they are no longer under the financial burden of buying menstrual products every month for their children.
Through all these fundraisers and donation drives, our beneficiaries never left our mind. They are always at the core of what we do at Sanitary. We aim to empower women and give them resources and skills they need to achieve their goals. So, We have implemented a train-the-trainee model to ensure sustainable continuation of the skills and knowledge required.
As a result, one of our beneficiaries was able to rise up to the position of Assistant Supervisor of the Her Shakti Centre. She works closely with the team in the UK and Sanitary's beneficiaries to oversee the product development of our pad and the packaging design.
Outside the pandemic, we are very proud to say that Sanitary had a massive role in reducing period poverty in Scotland. We actively campaigned for the Period Products Bill alongside MSP Monica Lennon, which was passed in November 2020, making menstrual products freely accessible to all.
Since February 2019, Sanitary has reached over 1,200 women in India and 500 globally through education, outreach, and pad sales. Since April 2020, we have sold 2,900 reusable pads, providing a cost-efficient, long-lasting, and environmentally sustainable solution to many menstrual toys.
At Enactus Edinburgh, rather than hinder our work, the global pandemic has motivated us to work harder and do better. Our commitment to aiding those in need has never been fiercer, and our zeal for enacting social and climate justice has never been more intact. The world is in unprecedented times, so at Enactus Edinburgh, we have changed our ways, we have adapted, and we continue striving to improve the lives of others any way we can.